August 12th, 1973. The first hip-hop party that we acknowledge took place in the Bronx, the home of hip-hop. That summer, I got the opportunity to see hip-hop. As soon as I saw it, I said I could do that. You know what I mean? There was no question in my mind, I could do that. And not only can I do that, I could do that well. And to see it being done, like for me to go see Flash mix 2 records was amazing. You know, because I had never saw that. To see the B-boy thing, it was kind of amazing to me, you know? And to see Cowboy get on the mic and be the first to say, yes, yes, y'all, to the beat, y'all, freak, freak, y'all, rock, rock, y'all. And this is the very beginning. These are the building blocks. These are the ABCs of B-boying and hip-hop. Then, October 1983. Like 30 of us all went to Japan. That was amazing. It was amazing.
In 1983, we brought the entire cast of Wild Style to Japan. Our crew had somewhere close to 40 people. We immediately got into spraying murals. We were hitting breakdance circles on the streets, scratch mixing. We brought a whole contingent of MCs. So you had this incredible representative of the hottest breakdance crew in the world coming to Japan, really as the first time that the people, not only in Japan but around the world, had seen hip-hop.
The official adventures of the Great Master.
30年ぐらい前にニューヨークに行った時にニューディレクターズフェスティバルというのがありまして、そこでワイルドスタイルという映画が上映されてて、非常に面白い半分ドキュメンタリー半分ドラマみたいなで、ちょうどヒップホップカルチャーが初めてニューヨークに出現した時なんで、ストリートキッズのライフスタイルとかそれとドラマを合わせてヒップホップとは何かみたいな映画を作って、ファッションでもあるし新しい若者の動きっていうのに非常に興味を持って廃棄を日本にしたら面白いんじゃないかって。
Tokyo, they greeted us with all kinds of posters and pictures and our Wild Style emblems and put it all the graffiti around. The Wild Style made us feel right at home. And Rocksteady crew, they was break dancing and dancing. I mean, Tokyo was so happy, so surprised to see it live and in person. And it was like the first time I was seeing the culture of hip hop. They might have read about it, but we brought it to them. And it was such a lovely time. We was there for 30 days.
Oh my God, the parties that we went to on that trip were wild. Everywhere we went, you know, our DJs would get on the turntables and start to show the Japanese DJs in the clubs, like scratching, and you know, the DJs would be standing there looking like, what are these guys doing, you know?
I remember that when Busy Bee, he donned this white towel on his head and he wore white gloves and he called himself the Ayatollah of hip-hop, and he was striking these punk rock poses in front of these Japanese kids to freak them out, just to see what they would do. And that image became like the cover of my Wild Style book, because to me that moment was hip-hop going global.
ニューヨークのヒップホップの DJ たちがラッパーと DJ とそのレコードをこすってキュッキュッっていうね、そういうものをやっぱり日本のその頃に DJ を始めた人たちがいたんだけど、それにすごい影響されて、で彼らはその後非常にそのいろんなクラブの有名な DJ になってって、でその若い人たちが彼らからまた学んで、それで今の DJ にやっぱり引き継いでると思うんですよね。だからね、ワイルドスタイルが多分持ってこなくても、まあヒップホップっていうのはニューヨーク誰かが行ってやっぱり影響されてきたかもわかんないけど、多分そのプリミティブなものを知った時のやっぱりちょっと違うかもわかんないですね。
That's why I was like so happy to see you do that piece outside, man.
I didn't do that, man.
What? That's crazy, man. That ain't my drawing, man. Biting your style, man, and they coming out here making money like trying to hustle me, man. Scooby-Doo.
It was our look, our style, our attitude, pure hip hop. And when we came out to this park, and we had all of our media that would follow us, the camera and stuff, and we met and interacted with these kids. And, you know, we were looking at them like, wow, this is wild. And they were looking at us like, wow, what are you guys wearing?
I remember that when we first started to see Yo-Yogi Park, ahead of us, we saw all these youths that looked like gangs because they were dressed in identical black leather jackets. And I remember Rodney C. sort of looking at me like, uh-oh, something's gonna happen. And here we were as a crew in complete like South Bronx hip hop style with our sneakers and sweat clothes, and they had never seen anything like that. And Rocksteady crew went into the middle of this circle and started hitting like windmills and doing head spins and all kinds of things which completely baffled all these Japanese kids. It was a real collision of cultures. And as much as the Wild Style crew was totally unprepared for how different Japan was going to be, the Japanese were also equally unprepared for what we were bringing to Japan. And it felt like, okay, we're radical. We're bringing the South Bronx to Tokyo.
I was too hot to handle too cold to hold because MC stand for mic control. When it came to that, I was one of the best. Like a Robin on South, the East and West. I'm like Mickey Mouse and the son of Sam. When I shot the house, don't give a damn. I was walking through the jungle with a stick in my hand. I'm a bad young brother from the ranch through land. Look in the tree, who do I see? People trying to freak with me. So I done the freak and done my best. Then all of a sudden, I had to grab my chest.
日本人に合うかどうかわかんないんだけど、多分日本にはないサウスブロンクスのという土地も場所も日本にはそこまではないんですよね。それとあとやっぱりそのカルチャーがヒップホップカルチャーがやっぱりビジュアルに非常に面白いっていうのがあって、だから多分その若者が真似をしてやっぱり影響はされるだろうなっていうのが感としてありましたね。
The effect that we had on the youth in Japan was interesting because like everywhere we would go, our DJs would get on their system and give a demonstration of cutting and scratching and mixing and rapping because nobody had ever saw these aspects of hip-hop culture. I remember coming back to Kyoto a few days later, and in the same club, we walked in, and I could hear somebody scratching, chicka, 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 chicka. And I remember going, yo, who's that, DST? Who's on the turntables? Is that Tony Tone? No, it was the Japanese guy that saw us last week in Kyoto, and he had learned that quick a little bit of the basics of how to scratch the record on beat. And I thought, wow. And that was the first sign that I got that this culture was going to connect, really connect with people's minds.
When we were there in Japan, our eyes were really open for the first time of what global hip-hop meant. And the idea that hip-hop wasn't just something in the Bronx or wasn't something just for New Yorkers, that this was something that was going to take and seed in places all over the world. And so there was this sense that hip-hop and wild style were affecting teen culture almost while we were there. Like everywhere we would go in Tokyo, I saw Japanese school kids practicing breakdancing moves off on the side. And later I was told about DJ Crush from Japan said that his experience with wild style really influenced his entire hip-hop career and really turned his life around, and that's an amazing statement.
The trip was amazing. It was amazing then, and it was amazing even now. And obviously, as we now know that hip-hop culture has become and still is very big in Japan, we know that these seeds that we planted, they bore a lot of good fruit.
To go to Japan and see these people gravitate to hip-hop just embrace it and it just become a part of them. It was just amazing to me. I just couldn't believe. It was. There are no words for me to just explain or express the feelings that I was feeling by having that opportunity to perform for them. And, you know, it confirmed for me that b-boying and hip-hop was going to be here forever.
Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all.